Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me today. This month, we are covering the Salamander Live Plans feature. So it's been about 2 years since I last covered this feature, so I thought it'd be a good time for us to focus on this tool before the end of the year. As always, as we go through the material, please do not hesitate to ask questions. You can use the chat function or you can unmute and ask your question. So first of all, I want to talk about what the plans feature is, especially for those that are newer to this feature and are still deciding whether or not you want to subscribe to it. So the Salmon Live plans feature is an add-on feature that allows you to pre-plan for events by creating templates that can be activated at any time. So a plan template can include assignments, people, equipment, and collections. So what it's doing is pulling in your data from your various databases. So the plans feature includes ability to preview all assignment locations on a map. So there's an actual plans map where you can kind of see where all your assignments are laid out based off of your event location. So that this way you can properly ensure that all your assignments are placed correctly. You do have the option to email all the event details to all your plan personnel. Once a plan is activated, um, the check-in process for plan personnel can be managed in Salamander Live or Track. And then last but not least, plans can be copied and reused over and over, so as many times as needed. So I'll walk through those processes as well. Again, if you're interested in the plans feature, make sure you contact your local sales rep. So there are four main steps when working with the plans feature. So step one, obviously, is to create the plan within Salamander Live. Step two, activate the plan, again, done in Salamander Live. Step three is that you are able to join the planned event in the track app and start the check-in process. Okay. Step four, manage the planned event in Salamander Live. So there's some functionalities that are opened up once you activate a planned event. We'll talk about that once we get to the Salamander Live side. So a little bit about plan support. So Salamander Live and the Track app are the only two solutions that support the check-in process for planned resources. So once a plan is activated and the event is created, what happens is that the Track app is going to download the entire plan from Salamander Live. This includes all the assignments. If there's any start times and dates, it'll include that. And of course, all the plan resources. All the plan resources will be listed and be grayed out until they are activated by scanning or downloading the record. Okay. So if you tap on the assignment, go into the assignment details, you'll see your list. Okay. And they'll be all grayed out until activated. In Salamander Live, the check-in of plan resources is managed through the chart tile. So in Salamander Live, you'll see the chart tile. And what happens is that when you get the plans feature, it activates some additional functionalities within the chart tile. So you'll see that there's actually two charts that you get. You get an actual for roll-up counts and a planned. And then whatever you create for your planned org structure, that is pulled over. Okay. And then from there, you'll see your different numbers for all the planned resources if you click on the planned chart side. Okay. And then from here, you're able to right click and then go in and activate your planned resources as needed. Okay. All right. So before we go into the check-in workflow, I'm going to walk through how to create a plan. So I'm going to pull up Salamander Live here. Okay. So first things first, I want to take us into the security users. Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody knows how to assign someone the plans feature because once you are subscribed to it, the plans feature is only provided to the main account administrator. From there, the main account administrator can assign it to other users within the organization. Okay, so how do you do that is you go into the person's user record, go into their profile, and then from there, you should see under the Salamander Live product, you should see the plans feature. Okay. From there, simply you're going to click to expand that section. And then you'll see that all of these are all a la carte type items, right? So Event Pro, you automatically get with the plans feature, or you can purchase that by itself if you didn't want plans. But with plans, you immediately get the Events Pro feature. So if you are, or if that user is going to be working with plans and they're going to be managing that planned event, you want to make sure that they have SalamanderLive, Events Pro, and Plans, as well as GIS Map. Those are the four that you want to make sure that they have. Within that role, as long as they are some type of administrator and or incident manager, they will have access to all four. Okay, so I want to make sure I talk about the security roles and permissions before we go into creating a plan. Once a user is assigned the plans feature, they should see the plans option appear in the left menu. From there, simply click on plans. And from there, you can start creating your plan. Okay, so any plan that you've created, obviously my list here, I've got about 95 different plans in here, a lot of test ones in this case. But your plan, if your plans list, if you're starting out, obviously is going to be very empty. So you'll see the three icons at the top are the same icons from any one of these other databases. So what you're going to do is click the new button, and then you're going to create your plan. So first things first is you're going to name your plan. What are you planning for? What type of event are you planning for? So this could be more of a generic template. Maybe it's for wildfires or hurricane evacuation, or I mean, it could be anything. Disaster related, or it could be for a conference. If you're planning for a conference and you wanted to create a plan for that, by all means, this can be for anything. Okay, you can be very specific or generic. So I'm going to do one. I don't know. It's winter right now. I've got a couple of them winter festivals in there, so I'm going to do winter concert. Okay. So name your plan and then the date to activate. So this is more for internal information. It's not that the system is going to automatically activate your plan once this date and time is met. That's not how it works. So this is more for letting you know, if you go to the plan, which plans need to get activated. Okay, so I'm going to choose today's date or a future date. I'll choose a future date. Let's see, this is going to be for 12/20. 5, 23, and it's going to be at 06. So this right here for timing, it only accepts regular time, no military time. Optional, if you want to select a plan type, feel free to. You'll see that this doesn't fall into any of the ones that I want, so you can select other or not select anything at all. For this, you do have to select the organization. So organization in this comes into play when it comes to access on the event side, meaning that your track app users, those that are managing the event, you want to make sure that they have access to this organization. Okay, if they don't have access to the organization, they're not going to have access to it on the event side to start tracking in resources. Okay, so I'm just going to choose this as my live and click save. So again, with anything with organization fields within SalamanderLive, you have to select it from the drop down. So it's got to be an organization that exists within your database. Okay, so this is my account, so this is just my training account. Click save. This takes you into the plan details. So there's 4 tabs at the top here: plan details with your general, your chart where you're going to start building out your plan, a map, and then your roster. So as you start adding in resources, for people, they'll appear on your roster tab. Top right, you're going to see a edit pencil icon where you can edit your plan details. From here, you can add in additional information. So if you didn't like the name of your plan, this is where you can change it. If the date's incorrect or time's incorrect, you can change it here. You can also add a location. So where is this event happening? So what happens is that once this plan is activated, the event location is pinned onto the GIS map on the event side. Okay, so that's what happens. So I'm just going to select an address in here. Let me see here. This one looks good. Okay. Once you select an address from the Google pick list, it fills in all the information, including latitude and longitude. So latitude and longitude is what's used for plotting on the plan map as well as on the event map. Okay. So go ahead and click save. Oops. I always forget to do this, but once you enter an address, you have to type in or you have to select an address type. Okay. Make sure you select one and then click save. I always forget that. So you'll see here the address information is entered in here, okay? Other option you have at the top right here is to download ICS forms. So if you need to fill out the FEMA forms for your event, you have your option to do so. They're all listed here. These are PDF documents that can be edited. Now, there are some forms that will pull in some of your event data. The only, again, real basic event data. So, like the name of your event and possibly the date. Okay, so that's what it's going to pull up on here. So these are all documents that you can download. So you can click on it, download the PDF document, and then you can work right off that PDF document. Okay. So it's not going to be saved in here once you work off it. You're going to save it onto your computer. From here, once you have your general information filled out, you can move on to the chart tab. So the chart tab in this case is you building out your event. Okay, so you're planning everything out. So what assignments are you going to have? Who are the people that are going to be working there? You're going to have some equipment that you want to track. Do you have teams or collections that will be working that you want to track? So this is where you can go in and start creating that. So here's a toolbar at the left is going to be just where you can expand or collapse. You can zoom in, zoom out. Okay, and then you'll see on the right is where you can click, drag, and drop to create your different or add your different assignments. Okay, so by default, the assignment you're going to get is off scene. If you worked with our solutions before, you know that the off scene assignment is important when it comes to tracking accurate times. Anybody that's put into the off scene assignment, it stops the clock. So it's the only assignment that does that. So if timing is if accurate times are important when it comes to tracking of your people, you want to make sure that everybody's moved to the off-scene assignment. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click, drag, and drop the assignment. Throw it anywhere onto this layout area. Okay. Once you do that, you should get this check your plan. This is just a helpful hint that says, hey, please make sure you add all your needed resources to the assignments and set start times and locations for assignments if scheduling is something that you'll be using for this event. Simply click OK, and then you're going to have the Add Assignment screen. So simply as searching or creating a new assignment, simple as that. Okay, so in this case, if I type in EOC, you'll see if I type in E, what it's doing is looking at my assignments database. So if I built out a hefty assignments database, guess what? As I start typing, this list is going to pop up. Okay, and I'm able to select it from the drop down, which makes it easier for you for time constraints or data entry, right? So this way you don't have to type in the entirety of the assignment. You can just select one from the drop down. Okay, so I'm going to select this one. You'll see that once I select it from the drop down, it adds it to the selected section. So basically think of this as a cart. So you're creating a cart of assignments. So you don't have to leave out of this add assignment screen at all. So you want to stay in the add assignment screen and continually adding all the assignments that you need. Okay. So you'll see in here, I'm just adding a bunch of them. I don't have logistics, so create that. So if you need to create an assignment, simply just type it out exactly as you want it. Okay. And then you have to click the green check mark. Okay. Click the green check mark to add the assignment for anything that is not existing within your assignments database. There it is, it's added in there. So make sure you're spelling things right. You know, obviously, if you make mistakes in here, you can always go back and fix it as long as the plan the plan hasn't been activated yet. Security. Let's see here. Okay, traffic control. I'll add a traffic east. Traffic West. You can see how quick this is. Operations. So you'll see the operations you'll see in here, it's popped up 4 times. The reason why it's popping up multiple times is because I am an administrator at the top level. So below me, there's a bunch of organizations that may be restricted to their organizational database. And they may have gone in and created some assignments, which is creating those duplicates because I have access to their database as well too. So it's pulling their assignments over. So you'll see in the parentheses, I'll tell you exactly who created that assignment. When you're adding these assignments in, it doesn't matter who you select. It's not saying that, oh, operations from Moosewood Fire Department, that means that only Moosewood Fire Department is going to be able to see this operations assignment. That's not how it works, okay? So you're just pulling out the name. So think of it as the shell of the assignment that you're pulling out. So I can select any one of these. It really doesn't matter, okay? So I'm adding all of these in here. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So I've got all the assignments that I need on here. Of course, you can always add more by clicking, dragging, and dropping it. Okay. Okay. So click, dragging, and dropping. So in this case, you can click, drag, and drop to create your chart. So figure out what is going to be the top of your org chart. So I've got EOC in here, so I'm going to start just dragging and dropping some of the assignments over. So I'm throwing operations under EOC, throwing planning underneath EOC. I'm going to throw in logistics under EOC, and then I'm going to add in security under operations. You see that I'm creating that third tier. And then from here, I can create my fourth tier from here, just dragging and dropping, okay? And that's what's creating your chart. Where you need them to go, okay? You can always use your mouse to scroll in and scroll out if it gets too large, okay? So there's the basis of my chart. Again, you can click, drag, and drop and add more if you need to. Simply click, drag, and drop. If I add it under EOC, that means that this assignment I'm adding is going to be added under EOC. You see that the highlighted one is going to be where this new assignment is going to be placed, okay? Once you've built out your chart, you can start editing and adding in some additional details. So how do you do that? It's simple as going into the assignment. So I'm just going to click on this security one. I'm going to click on this assignment. I'm going to right click and you're going to see these options. You can edit, you can detach, you can delete. So again, because we're in the planning phase, we can delete assignments. Okay. Once this plan is activated, just know that you cannot no longer delete assignments. Okay. That's only happens in the planning phase. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit. Once I click edit, it's going to take me into the assignment details. So this is for security. So this is the security assignment. I'll make sure this is nice and big here. So this is security assignment. I can go ahead and add some details. So next to details, there's a pencil icon. Click on that, and then you can add in the additional details. So details you can add is you can change the name of the assignment if you don't like it right here. Just delete this and put what you want in there. You can add a category. This is an open text if you want to categorize your assignments. You can add a start time. So if you want to do scheduling, this is where you're gonna be utilizing this. Okay. So if you have, a day shift, a night shift, and you want to put times for when people are gonna need to start their shift, you can do that. You can put a start time and start date in here. So we're gonna do 12, 25, 23, and let's say for security, they're gonna start early at 3 p.m. The event doesn't start till 6, but they're going to be there earlier. Once you put in a start date and time, you'll see that the include on plan versus actual tile, that checkbox is automatically checked. So what this is doing is that once you activate this plan, what happens is that there is an additional tile that is going to be available for you. It's called plan versus actual. And within that plan versus actual tile, it's going to show various pie charts for when people are supposed to be starting. Okay, their assignment, and there'll be different pie charts to show who's late, who's on time. So this is what it's really doing. So it kind of gives you that visual to see everybody that's late or on time. The second checkbox is for the tag app. So This doesn't work as today. These are just kind of the stepping stones for us for our next release of the Tag app. We're actually doing an update to the Tag app. It's going to be a new look and feel, and these are one of the options is that you're able to allow Tag app users to select the security assignment. Is actually what this is when they are joining an event from the Tag app. So as of today, the Tag app only allows checked in or en route. And so this allows them with multiple options. So that's what that is. So we're not going to select that as today because it doesn't work. And then you are able to go in and add an address. So this is the location for the security assignment. So if I wanted to have this pin on a map to show where security is located, I can add that. So if I start typing, I can select the location. Okay. Again, I'm selecting it from the Google pick list, so it fills in all the information, including latitude and longitude. So this is going to be used for mapping. Underneath that, there's a section for assignment details. So this is specific for this assignment. What are the instructions for anybody that's going to be assigned to the security assignment? Okay. So is there a specific gear they need to wear or bring? Equipment they need to bring? Who do they need to report to? Where should they park? Things like that. Okay, so that this goes under the assignment details, and this information can be sent out as an email to those planned individuals for this particular assignment. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to put in here check in at okay, A. If they need to bring any gear, they need to park somewhere. Okay, so there, just some basic details on that. You can write as much as you need to. The max character in this is, I believe it's 250. Okay, click save, and then you'll see that the details populates in here. Okay, you'll see the location in here. If you don't like the location, you can either click the edit pencil icon to change the location. You can always click the map to view where it's located. Okay, so here it is. So if you don't like that location, if you zoom in, you don't like the location, you can actually move it. So you move it where you want it to go. So in this case, I can move it over here. When I move it there, it's going to update the location. So a couple ways that you can do that. Okay. You'll see my assignment details populates in here. Once you have the assignment details entered in, next is to select who is going to be working that particular assignment. So your resources you can add are people, equipment, and collections. To add personnel, simply click on Add People. What this is doing is it's pulling from your people database. So it's important before you build a plan is that you have all your personnel entered into the database, all the equipment entered the database that you're going to be using for this event, as well as any teams or collections, because it's pulling from these three right here for these different categories. So under people, so it's going to pull up my people database in alphanumeric order. So I've got two options. I can scroll through and select who I want to add here, or I can do a search. So in this case, I can search for my individuals. There's Cameron Beard. Okay, you have your all these different options. Okay, so type in Tom. Okay. If you're done, simply click add. If you wanted to remove someone, let's say you added someone in there that's not supposed to be in there, simply click on their record and it removes them. Okay. Now, right now, we don't have anybody in red yet. So if you see anybody that's listed in red, just know that that person's already in the plan. Okay, they're somewhere else within a different assignment. If you click on their name with their red, it's going to remove them from their initial assignment. It's going to pull them into this assignment that you are adding them in. Okay, so just a couple things to notate on that. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to click add. I'm going to add this one individual. You'll see that Cameron Beer has been added, his ID number, his organization, and his hourly rate. So this is pulling directly from his personnel record. So if he doesn't have an hourly rate in here, it's going to show the account rate. So account administrators have the option to set a default rate on the settings side. If the individual doesn't have an individual rate, it'll pull that and it'll pull it in here. And you should know the difference between the two because if it's an hourly or if it's a account rate, it'll actually have a parentheses A in there to notate that it's pulling from the account. In this case, you can go back to the record, to that person's record. You can change it, add their individual um, hourly rate, and then you'll see it populated here and updated in here. In this case, if there's other equipment you want to add in, you can click on equipment. You can go through your equipment list, add what you need to. So in this case, you can, again, scroll through, or you can type in what you're looking for. Okay. And then simply click in Add. If you want to add a collection, you can add it here as well. So collections, again, is pulling directly from your list. Now your collection in this case is not going to show who's already in that collection until you add it. So we'll add them in a different area. Okay, so I'm done with this assignment. I'm going to click back and go back to my chart, and I'm going to follow that same process for all my other assignments. Okay, so you can do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go to Northgate in here. I'm going to click Edit. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to add in the details. So assignment start date, if there's a start date, if there's not a start date, you don't have to put a start date in here. If there's a location for this, you can add in the location. And then assignment details. Cameron Beard. Click Save. Okay. And then you can add your resources. So again, you add your option of your individual people, or you can go in here and add a collection. So this time I'll go, actually, let me show you this real quick. So as I start scrolling through in here, you'll see Cameron Beard. He's in red. So that means he's already in the plan because we actually added him to that security assignment. So that's why he appears red. If I add him in here, it's going to remove him from that security assignment and throw him into this Northgate assignment. Okay. So if that's not what you want to make sure you uncheck him so that he doesn't get removed. Okay. So I'm just adding an individual in this case. I can add a collection in this case. Okay. So whatever it is that you want to add in here, you know. Where's my bike team? My bike team. Let's see if I have anybody in my bike team. So once you add it, you should see the collection, and then it'll list all the people that's part of that collection. So far, this one only has 2 equipment. So in this case, you'll see in here that the hourly A, so equipment has an hourly rate or daily rate. So you already know that this is using the account rate because of the parentheses A right there. You look at this, you're like, bike team, wow, it's not complete. So I need to go back and fix this. So you can remove this collection, go back to your collections and fix that bike team. So it includes, all the people that's supposed to be within that bike team. So this right here kind of gives you that purview of who's in there. And if it's not correct, you want to go and fix that by going to your collections database to fix that. Okay. I'm gonna click to remove it. So by clicking the X, then go ahead and you can add in your other team. Okay. So I'm just adding in a team in there. Here, this one's a lot better. There's 4 people in this case and a piece of equipment. So again, you do that same process for all the different assignments, okay? Once you're done, if you want to take a look at it on a map perspective, you can. So in this case, here's the assignments. So this one right here, if I click on it, it's showing this is the security assignment. If I click on this one, this is the Northgate assignment. On your left menu, you can click to expand that. Okay, and you can see all the assignments, you can expand it. So in this case, any of the assignments that's listed on the left side that has this pin on icon means that they have the location entered in for those assignments. If you need to change the assignment location, you can double click on the pin itself, or you can double click it from the menu. In this case, it really doesn't matter. Or if you want to go in and add a assignment to one that doesn't have one, you can do so as well. So in this case, for Southgate doesn't have one. So I can go in here and I can add in for South. So I can go in there, add in the assignment. Oops, sorry, assignment. Okay, I can click Save. Okay, I can click back and it's going to take me back to my map to see where that assignment was added. So here is security, here is Southgate, and this is Northgate, okay? So now you can go through and fix all your assignments that way if you need to for the locations to make sure that it makes sense for your event. Okay. So these locations will transfer over onto the event map. So there's on the event side, once you activate the plan, all the the assignment locations will pull through and it's going to reflect on that GIS map on the event dashboard. Fourth tab on here is going to be the roster. So the roster includes just people, okay? Even if you had equipment, it's not going to include the roster of equipment. So it's going to be for people. So these are all the people that are working this particular event that you have added to the plan itself, okay? So you'll see in here you've got some base information. If there's other information you want to add in here, just like any of our other databases, there's an edit columns icon. Okay, so what I've added in here, which I like, is the assignment start time, email status, and whether the email is sent, and the email status date. Okay, so that's what I add. So simply go through your list over here, add by clicking the plus button, add over here, and then you can click, drag and drop and rearrange it where you want it to go. So what does the roster tile do? It allows you to go and see a list of everybody that's working. So you can pull this out if you wanted into a report. So you can export this out to CSV export. So now you've got a full roster of everybody that's planned for your event. Okay, you can match it up with another roster if you have an outside roster that you want to compare that to. The other option that this allows you to do is to send a email to these individuals to let them know about this event. Okay, since they're planned, they're going to be working this event. We want them to make sure that they have all the details. For example, what assignment they working. If they're scheduled to start at a specific time, what are the instructions? What is this event all about? So that's what you're sending over to them. So first things first, you got to make sure that the people that's listed here all have an email. Okay, and it's a working email. So the only two working email I know in here in this case is Johnny Gage and Brady Corbin. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to send an email. So anybody that you select over here, if you click the checkbox, they're going to receive the email. Okay. And also if they have a true email that's loaded in their profile. So again, this is pulling directly from their personnel record. Okay. So if they don't have one, you'll need to go into their personal record and add their email. Once you select the individuals that should be receiving an email, you're going to click on the send email icon, top right. From there, you can put in your information. So summary is the summary of the event. So I'm going to put in here, it's a winter concert, 2023. Okay. What is this event about? When's it start? Again, location. So Burnsville, Minnesota. Um, start time, PM, whatever you want to put in there. Special instructions, whatever you want to put in there. So this is for everybody. So before we saw the special instructions for the individual assignment. Now this is going to go for everybody. So this is where you might want to put like, hey, bring your Salamander credential to get checked in. If everybody should be meeting at one point for checking in, you may want to put that there. So bring your SalamanderLive credential. Okay, whatever you want to put in there. Okay, once you're done, click save and send, and then the emails can be sent out. So you'll see in here it says sending in this case. Okay, I'm going to go to my email. You should see my email pop through. Here they are. So here it is. Make this nice and big. So this is the email. It comes from SalamanderLive notification. So make sure that this is set as one of your, so that's not going into your spam or junk email box, okay? So plan name, winter concert, organization. So this is the person's organization. So this is Corbin Brady. This is who he's with. Summary, you can see in here what I wrote in there. Special instructions, this is for everybody. So it says bring your Salmon credential. All personnel needs check in Station A. His assignment is Drone Team 1. If there was an address and location, I would see that in here. Okay. In this case, there wasn't for him. And then you'll see his name and then his barcode. So this barcode is similar to the barcode that's printed on his actual Salmon Live credential. Okay, so he can use either one. He can use this to get scanned in, or he can use his actual Salamander Live ID. Doesn't really matter in this case, but with the email, it always comes with this barcode. Okay. Now, if anybody needs to respond to this, they should not be clicking reply. Okay, so at the bottom is going to show the individual's email who sent the communication. Okay, so right here, they can just click on that and it's going to go through whatever email they have set up on their computer. Okay, so if we do get these, we always just forward it off because obviously we have the information right here. So if we get this on our end from on the support side, we always just forward this off. So something to make sure that if you're sending these out, that your people are aware. Okay. So that is the sending of the plan details to individuals. Okay. Questions so far? All right. So let's say we're done with the plan. We can go back in here. We can go into your plans list. Okay, let's say we're done with the plan. Now, if this plan is, there's multiple days for this event and we want to create a new plan for each day since there's going to be new people that's going to, or going to be new resources that's working each day or different resources that's working each day, we may want to create a day 1, day 2. You'll see in here, I've got a couple of those, all right? Stay fair, day 1, day 2, day 3. It's going to be the same assignments, but there's different people that's going to be working in those different those assignments. So in this case, there's a copy function. So I can click the checkbox next to the event, or sorry, not the event, the plan. Click the checkbox next to the plan, and then at the very top, you're going to see that there is a copy icon, second icon. I can click on that. All I do is I click on it. It's going to copy the plan. So you'll see the name is exactly the same. So we've got winter concert, except that you're going to have this dash copy. So you know this is the copy. What happens in a copy? So in a copy, if you go into it, everything in here under the details is exactly the same. So you may want to change the start date to the next day or whenever the next day starts or whenever the next event starts. Maybe it's the next weekend. And then your chart. If you look at your chart, you'll see that all the assignments pull through as well as your chart structure. What does not pull through is all the resources you've added so far. Okay. Now, if you did add a time, a start date and time, those start date and times do come through as well. Okay. But and then you'll see your map. All the locations on there are still the same as what it was in the previous plan. You'll see your roster is blank. So that's what's copied over in a plan copy. Go back to my plans, and then you can go back and build out this day 2 or this weekend number 2. Okay, whatever you need to send out the details for that so that everybody has all the information they need. Now, when you're ready to start the event, so let's say it's a day of the event. Let's say it's December 25th, Christmas Day. We're ready to start this event. All you do is you click on this, click the checkbox, and then there's the Start Now button, so the play button. That's all you're doing. Okay, so you're going to click Start Now. Click OK, and then you can rename this as you need to. So if this is too generic and you want to put in here Winter Concert Day 1, feel free to do so. Or the actual date itself, feel free to do that. Address location, make sure it's all the same. So this is pulling from the plan. And then simply all you can do is click Start. Once you click Start, you should get this little message prompt that says Event Started. So now what happens is that's the next stage is the tracking piece. So now your track app users can join in and start tracking. You can go to the event side and start tracking this on the Salamander Live side. Okay. So I'm actually going to activate my ABC concert one because that one's actually complete. That one we didn't put in all the information. So I'm going to start this one. ABC concert. Click Start. Okay. So now it's the Track app. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation on here. I want to talk a little bit about the Track app here. So I talked about how the Track app and Salamander Live are the only two solutions that supports the check-in workflow for planned resources. Okay, so if you check in any planned resource through rapid tag or command, it's not going to tell you that those individuals are planned. You're still going to need you're still going to need to select the assignment. Okay. So in this case, through the Track app pulls in the plan details. So it knows exactly when you scan that person's barcode or you download them, it knows exactly where they're supposed to be going because it's again, it pulled down the plan details. But something that I want to talk about is the check workflow for scheduled resources. Okay. So though both Salamander Live and the Track app supports the check-in of plan resources, only the Track app supports plan start time. So if you're using scheduling, you want to make sure you use the Track app and not Salamander Live to check in individuals. Okay. Anytime a plan resource with a plan start time is scanned or downloaded in the Track app, a workflow is activated to allow the Track app user to control their check-in time. Okay. So, for example, if the user checks, or I'm sorry, if the resource checks in anytime before their scheduled start time, the Track app is going to log the resource in at their scheduled start time. So I have an example here. So they checked in 10 minutes early. So their shift doesn't start till 11. They checked in 10 minutes early. When you scan that person in, the Track app's going to set their check-in timestamp for 11 a.m., even though they're 10 minutes early. So that's just a process in which it's done doing today. Okay. Now, what happens if they check in after the scheduled start time? So if they check in after the scheduled start time, the Track app's going to prompt the Track app user to choose between three options. Okay. So one, they can ignore the current time and check the resource in at their scheduled time, even though they're late. So in this case, person checks in at 11:13 for an 11 a.m. shift. The Track app user can choose to check them in at 11 a.m. Okay. Which is their planned start time. In the late prompt, it tells you exactly what time they were supposed to start. Okay. So in this case, if I do planned start time, option A is going to check them in at 6 p.m. per this one right here. Option B, accept the current time is a check-in timestamp. So in this case, the current timestamp, you'll see the timestamp down here. In this case, right now, it says 6:15 p.m. Okay. So in this case, if I select option B, it's going to check that person in at 6:15 p.m., not 6 o'clock per their planned time. Option C is you can adjust the current time on 1-minute increments. So you can tap on the time and then it's going to pull up a clock and you can change the time to whatever you want it to be. If you wanted to put it, let's say they checked in at 6:10 and for finance purposes, if they're 10 minutes late, then they have to go to the next quarter time. So you put in there 6:15. You can change the options and do a custom time. So that's option C. Okay. Once you select your option, then you simply check them in, and then depending on your option, that person will be checked in at whatever time that you selected for A, B, or C. Okay. So that's how that works for uh, scheduled resources in the Track app. So we're going to go through that so you can see that process. So I'm going to pull up my Track app. Give me 1 second to pull this up. Minimize all my screens here. All right. I'm going to minimize this here. I'm going to move my Track app over. Here's my Track app. Here's the 2 events I activated. So you saw the winter concert day 1 I entered in. So it took the name I entered in here, and then my ABC concert 2023. So this is the one I'm looking at, is ABC concert 2023. So you'll see in here, start time is going to be the time I activated the plan, or I activated the event through the plan. And then you'll see in here, nobody's checked in so far. So what your track app users are going to do is they're going to click join. Tap join is going to take them into the actual event. So in this case, all the assignments pull through. Okay, so all the assignments are listed in alphanumeric order. Okay. If you go into the actual assignment, so for example, I click on Traffic East, I'll see that there's a bunch of people that's in here that are planned to work. However, they're grayed out because they've not been activated yet. Okay, they've not been activated yet. So to activate an individual, simply scan their barcode from their ID, or you can download their record. And you can do that from any screen. So I don't even need to click on whichever assignment they're planned in. I can just scan it right from the main screen on here. So I want to pull up some barcodes on here and I'll scan in the individuals. Okay. So I'm just going to scan in. Where is Mr. Cameron Beard? Scan in Mr. Cameron Beard. Just nice and big. Let me change my, there it goes. It's not who I wanted. Cameron Beard right here. So you'll see in here, Felix Barley added to parking security as planned. You see that little notation at the bottom? So you didn't even have to select the assignment. It automatically checked him into the assignment that he was planned. So let me make sure I scan the right person this time, Cameron Beard. So here. So in this case, I scan in the individual. So in this case, Felix Barley was moved into his actual assignment, okay, as planned. In this case, on a collection side, if you scan an individual, so individual members of a collection can be scanned in. So if you scan an individual member, this is what's going to happen. So you get this prompt that says, do you want to activate the collection with the person? So the message says, the scanned person, Cameron Beard, is currently part of the planned collection Drum Team 1. Tap yes to activate the resource with the collection, or tap no to treat the resource as unplanned. So in this case, if I tap yes, what's going to happen is that it's going to activate Cameron Beard and the collection Drone Team 1. All the rest of the other individuals will not be activated. Okay, so in this PowerPoint presentation, I have this right here. This is what's going to happen. Okay. So members of an activated or inactivated plan collection be checked in individually by scanning their barcode, or you can download their record. However, in this workflow, any planned start times will be ignored. So if you have a start time with this collection, just know that it's completely ignoring that start time. So if you use, if you're planning to scan in individual members, because you know that these members are going to be checking in at different times, probably wouldn't worry about setting start times for any of your assignments. Okay. So you'll see in here, if you tap yes, what's going to happen is going to check in Cameron Beard, in this case, Cameron Beard, and Drone Team 1, which is the collection. If you go into the assignment, you'll see that the other members stay unactivated. Okay, so now the collection's activated and that one individual is activated. So that is if you tap yes in this prompt. If you tap no in this prompt, what's going to happen is that the collection, Drone Team 1, is not going to be activated. But who's going to be activated? Just the individual. So in this case, Cameron Beard will be activated. However, he is removed from the collection and he's treated as an unplanned resource. Okay, so then you'll see him moved out of Drone Team 1, and he's going to be checked into the security assignment. In this case, the selection, I selected the assignment, so it's going to pop up, where do you want this person to go? If you tap no, I selected security and moved him into the security assignment as an individual resource. Okay, so that's what happens when you scan in members of a collection. So again, the first person I scanned in, Felix Barley, was an individual resource. It automatically put into his planned assignment, as you saw in the little pop-up message. So in this case, I'm going to Tap yes, you can see exactly what happens. So I tap yes. It's going to go through Salamander identity verification. It's going to validate his ID. And then you're going to see in here, Cameron Beard added to Drone Team 1 as planned. So you'll see this little pop-up message. Now if I tap back, I go into the assignment. It's under security. If I tap on that, I'll see Drone Team 1 has been activated. If I tap on Drone Team 1, so you're not tapping the picture, you're tapping the name of the collection. Tap in the name of the collection, you're going to see that Cameron Beard is the only one that's been activated. Okay, so there's Corbin Brady, Johnny Gage, Brian Howell. So going forward, these individuals should only be checked in individually. So in this case, if I have the Drone Team 1 collection barcode, if I scan it, it's not going to do anything because the collection is already checked in. So going forward, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be scanning in Corbin Brady's ID individually, Johnny Gage's individually, and Brian Howell individually. Once I do that, the entire collection should be checked in, as well as the equipment if there's a piece of equipment. So I'm going to show you that. Let me see, Mr. Corbin Brady, make sure I have his barcode. Here he is. Okay. So I'm going to tap out of this. I'm just going to go back to the main screen. I can click on here too. It doesn't really matter. So in this case, I tap on the scan button, scan Corbin Brady's barcode. Okay. And this is what you're going to get, the second prompt. So the prompt in this case says continue with person as planned. So it says the scanned person, Corbin Brady, is planned as part of collection Drone Team 1. That means if you get this message, this means that Drone Team 1 has already been activated. The collection has been activated. And this individual is a part of this collection. So if I tap yes to continue with the resources plan, it's going to check Corbin Brady in to Drone Team 1. If I tap no, what's going to happen is that it's going to remove him from Drone Team 1 and check him in as an unplanned individual resource. Okay, so you have your two options. So I'm going to tap yes. Validated, and you'll see in here as planned. Okay, so Drone Team 1, there he is. Corbin Brady activated. Questions on that process? Let me see here. I'm going to do Mr. Tommy Bahami. I'm going to show you this real quick. So Tommy Bahami, part of water control. Okay, so I'm going to scan in Tommy Bahami. This time I'll tap no so you can see what happens. The Tommy Bahami. Activate collection person. So let's say Tommy Bahami is going to be no longer part of collection boat team 1. This time I'm going to tap no. Once I tap no, I'm get this message or the prompt to select an assignment. So he's no longer part of boat team 1. I'm removing him from that collection saying he's going to be working in a different assignment now. So what assignment is he working? So in this case, instead of water patrol, I need him in traffic control. Okay, so we've got shorthanded in traffic control. So I move him over to traffic control. I select the assignment, verifies his ID. Okay. The action doesn't happen until after I select allow or if it's been validated. So I'm going to allow, and now he's been added to traffic control. You'll see there's no prompt in here. The prompt doesn't say as planned anymore. Okay, so it doesn't say as planned anymore. So that you'll know that this person has been checked in as a unplanned resource. Okay, so again, that prompt only pops up for a bit, so you'll have to look at that pretty quickly. It pops up for a couple seconds. So now if I go to traffic control, I should see Tommy Bahami there. You see that? He's been removed from water patrol. So if I go to water patrol, I should no longer see him listed under water patrol. You see that? So that's how that process in this case works for a collection. I just want to make sure that we cover that so that you can see the options. Now, if you're scanning in resources that weren't planned, hey, feel free to. The system in this case, again, if you're scanning an unplanned resource, it works as it does as if it wasn't planned. So if I scan in someone, Conan Brewer in this case, he's unplanned. Okay, or this one is planned. So this right, Conan Brewer was added to parking security as planned. If I scan someone that's not planned in this case, if I scan someone that's not planned, Brady added parking security. Let me add in Francis below. So you see in here, the assignment is active as security, so parking security. So anybody I scan in, if they're unplanned, will be automatically added to this parking security assignment. Okay, so you want to be careful if you're scanning unplanned resources that you verify the assignment, the active assignment that you have within your continuous scan mode. The same process I'm showing for people, it's the same for equipment. Equipment also prompts it as well. Okay, so if equipment, in this case, if equipment's part of a collection, it'll give you that same prompt where you can check it in with the collection or check it in individually outside of that collection. Okay, so it's the same process, no difference. Let me double check my plan. I thought I had a late time in here. Let me go back in here. Security, 11:14, 10 a.m. Let me see who these individuals are. Oh, Corn Brady. Okay. All right. Go back in here. I'm gonna get an actual late prompt. So I'm gonna do Erica. Oh, she's part of a collection too. That doesn't work.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I just want to double check. I sent a chat message over. Does all of this translate over to ICS forms, or do we still have to manually add this to ICS forms?
You'll still have to manually add this to the ICS forms.
Okay.
Yeah, the ICS forms that you see within the plan, those are just blank PDF documents. So if you download those, you'll still have to fill in the information as you know, when you're doing your reports.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Sorry about that. Oh, and I didn't see your hand up on there and I didn't see your message come through. I normally get a little pop-up, but this time I didn't get that little pop-up, so I apologize on that. All right. So I'm going to open up another plan. I didn't get I thought I put in a late time on here, but it looks like I didn't. I did it for a collection, which doesn't work. So that's my fault. I'm going to add parking security in this case. All right, I'm going to put a late time in here. I want to make sure I show you the prompts for someone that's late. I'll do this for 11 a.m. All right. So you saw on here this security assignment had a start time of 11:14, but because they're part of a collection, I checked them in individually. It's not going to show that late prompt, but I will check in the actual collection itself so you can see that. So you can see the actual lateness that happened. So that's K901 and drone team. So I'll pop that up so you can see what that's going to look like. Here's my collections. All right. So here's a late prompt. I'll scan in. Oh, hold on here. Let me go and activate my plan. Activate this plan again. I've got some people in here that are late. make sure it's 11:01. Put it for 11. I should put it for 10:59. My drone team one's already activated. Put this in for while we're waiting. That's 10 a.m. It's for 11:01. Okay, perfect. All right, now we can activate our plan. Now it's 11:01. I want to make sure that those individuals are late. So I'm going to go in, activate my plan, and I'll show you the process again. Click the checkbox, click Start Now, click OK. I'm going to leave it as ABC Concert, so I know that's the different one. Event started. Go to my track app. I should see ABC Concert. I want to show you the late prompt of what happens if you scan in someone that's late. So whether that's a collection or that's an individual. All right, back up. So in this case, if I scan in individual, so in this case, security, there's a bunch of people in here. Okay. So if I scan in Rudy Avery in this case, and Mr. D. Avery, here's a late check-in. So this is what you're going to see. If you scan someone that's late, it's going to show on here. So it's 11:02 my time. So his planned start time was 11 a.m. today, and his assignment is parking and security. So I have my options. I can do the scan start time of right now. Okay, so in this case, I can select plan start time. If that's what I choose, I can tap check in. I can adjust the time. So this time it's going to be from, you'll see the clock in here. It says 11:02 is when I scanned the barcode. So I can select that as the time, which is the current time. Or if I don't like the current time and I need to fix that, I can tap on the clock right here, the time, and it's going to pull up and I can change the time for when I need to. So in this case, I can change to 11:05 a.m. if I need to. Once you change the time, just tap anywhere within the screen and it'll save the new time there for 11:05. Okay. So you have your three options. So if I do plan start time, again, 11. If I do the time, the adjust time, I can put it back to when he was checked in. Okay. So I'm going to do his current actual time he checked in, which is 11:02. I'm going to check him in. It's going to verify his ID, and you'll see that in there. Okay. So then it's going to add him to the assignment as planned. So after you do the check-in, it's going to put him into the parking security assignment as planned. I'll do another one so you can see that process again. Okay. So plan start time. This time I select plan start time. I check in. Verifies his. In this case, he's got a qualification expired. What do I want to do? Do I want to allow him or do I want to block? Okay. If you block him, it's not going to check him in at all. So he's going to be inactivated. If I allow him, it's going to check him in as planned. Okay. If I go into their records, you'll see Al Bannister. Scroll down. If you tap on his name, it takes you into his profile. You'll see his time stamp of 11 a.m. If I go to Rudy Avery, it's going to show his timestamp of 11:02. Okay, so that's what it's doing the timestamp as, whatever you select within that late prompt. Okay. This can also happen for an entire collection. Okay, so again, the entire collection, if I scan the collection, if the entire collection is late. Okay, so this is me scanning the collection barcode, not the individual members. If you scan individual members of collection, it ignores any planned start times. But if you scan the entirety of the collection, so the collection barcode, you do get the late prompt. So in this case, I can do the exact same thing. Do I want to plan start time, adjust time? So I'm going to adjust time. They're going to check in at the time I scan them in, which is 11:04. I can check them in. Okay. For collections, when you scan in the collection, it's going to pull up. So the collection So it's going to pull up all the individual members. So it's going to show you this, hey, says, hey, in drone team 1, there's Cameron Beard, Corbin Brady, and this piece of equipment. Are all 3 resources there? Do you want to check them all in? If not, you need to uncheck the ones that you don't want to check in. So in this case, I'm checking everybody in. I can tap accept, and then now it's going to check them in as planned. Okay. So that is that process for the track app. Any questions? I know we're running out of time on here, but I want to show you guys on the Salamander Live side. Okay. So I apologize running a little bit late on here. On the Salamander Live side, I want to show you guys this real quick. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my ABC concert one. So Salamander Live can also be used to check in resources that are planned. So you'll see in here the chart tile has an actual and a planned side. Okay, so planned side is going to show you the numbers for who's actually planned. If you click on the icon, it'll pull up the little pop up. You'll see exactly who has not checked in yet. Okay, so in this case, if I right click this one, I can edit and I can go in and check these individuals in. Okay. So anybody that's in red over here, you'll see that they are planned resources. And if you want to activate them from Salamander Live, simply click the checkbox or the activate button. It'll activate those individuals. See that? It's quick and simple. When we're from a collection standpoint, I'm going to go back to a collection. We're going to look at the collection standpoint. We'll look at the collection and we'll look at Boat Team 1. You see Boat Team 1? In Salamander Live, you only have the option to activate the entire collection. There's no option. I mean, there is an option for you to select in or and add in individual times. However, it's gonna look a little bit different. Okay, so I'm gonna activate the individual Marcy Coleman. So in this case, I'm going to activate the person Marcy Coleman. I'm going to search for them. So this is how you activate an individual member. I'm going to add in Marcy Coleman. There she is. I'm going to activate her. So this is what happens. If you activate an individual member within Salamander Live, it's going to automatically remove them from the planned collection. Okay, so it's going to treat that person as a individual resource. So if it's important to keep that person activated as part of the collection, this process should be done within the track app. So for individual activations, okay, don't do the individual activations within Salamander Live. That process was built for the track app. I recommend you use the track app if you're checking in individual members. Do not use Salamander Live. Now, if you do this by accident and you put Marcy Coleman, you activated her and she's no longer part of that collection, what you're going to need to do now is you're going to need to go into Salamander Live, or sorry, into the track app, and now you're going to need to activate her. So I'm going to go back to my correct. I'm not activate her, I apologize. You're going to move her. You're going to move her back into that collection. So how you move her back into the collection, you'll see here, there's Marcy Coleman. All you're going to do is tap her picture, tap the move icon, and then you're tapping the collection that she's supposed to be in. Now, one thing to notate on here is that the collection has to be activated, okay? So you'll see on here, all we have is Drone Team 1. Boat Team 1 is not listed. Why is it not listed? Because it's not been activated yet. So you do have to activate Boat Team 1 in order for you to move Marcy Coleman back into that collection. So that's very important. I want to make sure I show you that in here. So you have your 2 options for activation: scanning Boat Team 1's barcode, scanning in any one of these individual members, or activating the entire collection from here. So I can click collection, I can activate. The collection is now activated. If I tap the move icon now, if I refresh my page, let me refresh my page real quick here. I should see Boat Team 1 now. You see that? Now I can move her back into Boat Team 1, and now she's a part of Boat Team 1. There she is, back together with the team. I refresh Salamander Live, it should move her back into Boat Team 1. So I want to make sure that that's understood when you're activating individual members through Salamander Live. It always removes them out of that collection. And the only way to move them back into the collection is by using the track app to move them back into the collection. Any questions on that process? I want to make sure that that's clear on that. I've got documentation on this. I've got a user guide that will be out on Wednesday to walk through this. That highlights this process. So if you want to go back and review that, please feel free to within that user guide. Any questions? Any questions? I want to show you this real quick here as well. Okay. So I want to show you this right here. If you activated, so we activated Cameron Beard and the drone team 1, as you can see on here under security. If we go to security, so we activated drone team 1 and Cameron Beard. If you go into Salamander Live, you're going to see it looks like the entire collection has been activated, but that may or may not be true. So the only way for you to know who's been activated on this, in this case, is to look through the track app, unfortunately. So I'd have to go into the track app, tap on Drone Team 1, and it'll show you who's not been activated. Okay. So in this case, and this again, this is just what we have today for the system. So Drone Team 1, you'll see in here that the only one that's been activated is Cameron Beard. Johnny Gage, Brian Howell has not been activated yet. So I can add them in here as I need to. So I can tap on the plus button, tap the personnel, add in Johnny Gage if I need to from here. Oh, which one is he? Oh, of course I selected the wrong one. So you see in here, it says continue with person as planned. So you'll get the same message as before. Activate him, tap yes, he's added to the plan. There he is. So that's how you can tell is through the track app, unfortunately. You can't see that information through Salamander Live. Any questions on that process? Any questions? All right. Again, I apologize for going over. We just have so much information when it comes to the plans feature because there's just 2 solutions that supports the check-in process, the track app and Salamander Live. So I want to make sure I provide you all the information. Again, I've got a user guide that will walk you through this process. The user guide, again, will be available tomorrow. It has images in there that'll kind of help you, especially when it comes to the activation within Salamander Live and what happens. So I've got all this that's documented there for you on what happens if you activate them individually. So these will be hopefully available to you guys tomorrow. If you want this ahead of time, let me know. I can always forward it to you as well. Any questions on what we covered today on creating a plan, activating a plan, or the check-in process through Track App and Salamander Live? Any questions? No questions? All right. Again, thank you all so much for joining me today and spending the last hour and 15 minutes being on this call with me. I really appreciate it. You're welcome, Patrick. You're welcome, Owen. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.